Hello everyone, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Devin and I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. All right, you guys, here we are. I am back. I am married and I am once again reviving this channel. So during the holidays, I did pick up the Tarte Reflections 25th anniversary palette. Here is what it looks like. I just feel like these colors are so stunning. I was really attracted to the color story, and also Tarte released another kind of like big palette like this a couple years ago that I loved so much. It would have been perfect for bridal, and now you can't get it anymore, and anytime I see somebody else using it, I'm so jealous of it. So I did jump on this just for the FOMO factor. I did dip into it a little bit when I was doing my makeup for my rehearsal dinner, but other than that, this is pretty untouched. So I thought that we could go a little old school and do a 3 looks 1 palette video. My plan for today is to do the kind of trendy, icy, sugar plum fairy, wintry, cold, icy girl makeup look. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen a little smattering of it on YouTube, and I just don't even know what the kids are calling it these days. Ice Queen inspired look on one side, and then I thought we could do a nice fun, dramatic, smoky halo eye on the other. And then I'm thinking for the third look, we'll go for my signature Glam by Dev type of look with the tape and the snatched edge and the glowy glam and the whole bit. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's get into look number 1 right now. All right, first things first, priming with my P. Louise Rumor 2. I'm just gonna get this all over my eyelid. You can also use a concealer, whatever works best for you. And especially because I already have the complexion done and I'm not gonna be able to do any cleanup while I am working on the eyes. I want to make sure I really concentrate this just on my eyelid. I don't want to go too crazy outside the lines, again, just because I'm not going to be able to wipe it up since my face is already done. To set the lid, I'm going to take the shade Be Kind, and I'm just going to pat that all over to make sure that we have a nice smooth base to blend on top of. And even though this is definitely going to be a pinky, purpley, icy look, I do still want to use a neutral color in the crease just to anchor the whole thing. So I am taking the shade Unstoppable on a fluffy brush, and I am just working that through the crease and then lightly blending it up and out onto the brow bone. And just dipping in a second time to build that up a little bit more. And as I always say in my tutorials, you can absolutely customize this to your personal preference, your personal eye shape by, you know, keeping the blend lower, blending it up even more, keeping it a little softer, building the color up a little bit more. You can do whatever. Okay, I just turned down the exposure setting a little bit on my camera because I feel like it was looking like there was nothing on the lid. Hopefully you guys can see there definitely is a nice wash of color on the lid. This is not a barely there shade. It definitely does show up. All right, so now let's have a little fun. I'm gonna take the shade Be Present, again on a fluffy eyeshadow brush, but this one is just a little bit thinner, which is gonna allow us to concentrate the shadow a little bit more. And I'm first gonna start packing that into my outer corner. And even though I am trying to build up some depth here, I don't want it to be too dark because this is a very ethereal, almost fairy-like look. So I don't want too much, but I definitely want to build up some definition in the outer third of the eyelid by doing this. And I don't think I said this out loud, but once I get most of the color off of my brush and into the outer corner, I'm gonna take whatever's left and just lightly run it through the crease. This color, I am not blending up and out this way. I'm just keeping it concentrated right here, again, just for a little bit more depth and dimension. Now we're gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna take the shade Teachers, which is, oh wow, that's actually a lot more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, so I am taking this on a Sigma E55, which is one of my favorite packing brushes to get shimmers on the eyelid. And I'm gonna focus this right in the center of the lid, starting down at the lash line and working it all the way up to the crease. But I do wanna keep this area open because we're gonna put a different color in there. And then really quick, just taking a smidge, a tiny little tap more of that color Be Present in the outer corner, just to marry those two colors together. I'm just trying to avoid any harsh lines between the two. We want to make sure we have a nice seamless blend from start to finish. Okay, now I'm gonna take a smaller packing brush so we can get more precise in the inner corner, and this is the shade Tartlet. And I am just gonna pack that in right into that blank space that we left on the inner third of the eyelid. And honestly, to give this look just a little bit more of that ethereal vibe, I'm gonna continue that color right over top of the blue because this color is actually a little more sheer. So I think that'll just give it some fun dimension. I almost wish I did a little concealer or P. Louise on the lid before I put the shimmers on, just for a little bit more pop, but I do feel like they are popping pretty well on their own, so that's good. And now that I'm looking at this, I think I actually do want a little bit more of this Be Present shade in the outer corner and also up through the crease as well. So again, just grabbing that same brush that I was using to apply this color in the beginning and building it up and working it a little bit higher through the crease so that it still peeks out beyond those shimmers that we just put on the lid. Again, you can tailor this to your own eye shape. I have deep set eyes and a very strong brow bone, so a lot of times shadows can get lost on my lid and I kind of have to bring them up a little bit onto my brow bone so that they still peek out when my eyes are open. And then just for good measure, I'm going to do a little bit more of that Unstoppable shade, the first color that we put through the crease, and blend a little bit of that up and out as well. All right, now I'm taking the shade Empower. Oh yes, this is going to give us the iciness. So I am going to focus this in the inner corner, and then I am also going to work this onto the lid a little bit to give us that nice icy brightness that I feel like I'm missing. So again, take this as far as you want or keep it as tight as you want, but I definitely want that brightness to pop on the lid. And then I am also gonna take that underneath the brow bone as well. You can always use your finger to tap it out if you feel like it went on too intense. But again, we're really going for that icy pop. So I feel like we need it, you know? All right, let's go ahead and add some white eyeliner to the waterline. This is just the shade Pure White from NYX. It's their Epic Wear eyeliner formula. Now we are going to connect the lower lash line with the upper lash line. So taking that shade Unstoppable and smudging that along the lower lash line. And this one I'm not worried about being too precise with because it is a nice light shade. And then we are going to add the purple. Okay, so now I am taking a more precise smudging brush for this one because this is a darker shade. I do want to be a little more precise with it. So I'm just getting that on my brush and keeping that a little bit tighter to the lower lash line, okay? And then I'm gonna pick up that brush that I was using Unstoppable on, and I'm just gonna use that to blend it out. All right, you guys, I popped on a lash and some mascara off of camera. I felt like this look definitely called for a wispier, more cat eye type of lash. So I went for one of my favorites. It's the Kiss Bare Affair lash style. I use this in my kit on clients all the time, and I like to use them on myself as well. So this is the finished look number one. I actually really like this. I never do looks like this really in like my everyday. Like I'm not just gonna sit down to do my makeup for the day and do a look like this, but I think this trend is so fun. I've been loving seeing all of the videos on it, and honestly, I almost wish I did this as a solo tutorial because I feel like I would love to see how this looks on both eyes as like a full makeup look with blush and lips and everything. So maybe we'll do a separate video or we'll do that for TikTok or something like that. But overall, I really like how this turned out. All right, look number two. I'm gonna use concealer to prime this time just because. And hopefully this angle is a little bit easier for me to shoot because this is my left side and I'm left-handed. And once again, just taking that shade Be Kind to set down the lid. Now I think I said I was gonna do a dramatic smoky halo eye for this second look. I don't actually think I'm gonna do that. I actually think I'm feeling something like warm and smoky, so let's go that direction. So I am gonna start off with the shade Park Ave Princess on a nice fluffy brush, and that is what we are going to use to start building the look. similar to like we did on the other eye, outer corner, up through the crease. Don't have to worry about being too neat with it because it's not a super dramatic shade, but again, it's just giving us a base to start off the look. This shade Park Ave Princess is warmer than that Unstoppable shade that we were using in the first look, so I think this is just a better option to start off something that's a little bit warmer and smokier. And I'm going in with a third coat because again, I really want to build this up. All right, now taking the shade Limitless, packing that into the outer corner for some depth. And then again, once I've achieved the depth that I want in the outer corner, just working that color through the crease as well and just not taking it quite as high up. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for my bad camera angles today, you guys. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take that first blending brush that I was using, no extra color on it, but I'm just gonna soften that crease, make sure we have no harsh lines. All right, I am really excited about this shade in Bloom. So I picked that up on a packing brush and I'm gonna see how we do applying this with a brush. It's swatched really nicely like on the back of my hand with my finger, but it's definitely a glittery shimmer. So I'm wondering if it's gonna need a little help. Okay, so I feel like it looks nice. There's definitely impact, but I do want to try and get in here with my finger, even though I do have long nails right now, and see if I can just amp that up a little. Yeah, look at that. Way better applied with your fingers. So almost I would say if I could go back and do this again, I would just kind of get it on there with my finger first, because then you can always go back over with the brush to spread it out and just like improve the precision a little bit more. But yeah, definitely much higher impact if you apply with your finger. Like look at how much more that's showing up on my lid now. That is stunning. It's actually a lot more like bronzy coppery looking when applied on the eyes than it even looks in the pan, but I am not mad about that at all. Okay, and then really quick taking a little bit more of that Limitless shade just to blend that in with the shimmer. Okay, moving right along, let's take Park Ave Princess and blend that under the eye to connect the upper and lower lash lines, or the upper lid with the lower lash line, I guess is a better way to say that. And then Limitless right under the eye with a smaller little smudging brush to stay a bit more precise, but still keeping it pretty smoky. Okay, let's go for a gold waterline for this look. So this is just the retractable liner from NYX in the shade Gold. All right, you guys, I popped on some lashes. These are my current all-time favorite. These are Noblesse from Kiss. I love these so much. I feel like they give the eye a much more rounded look as opposed to like an elongated cat eye look. So I, for my personal eye shape, really love these. I feel like I want to wear them every time I do my makeup. And I do feel like they pair really well with this look. So here we are with look number 2. All right, you guys, third and final look, which I feel like is always my favorite because we start with a bare face and I can do kind of my more normal makeup routine and really get in there. So this is definitely my preferred method of filming and doing my makeup, so I'm excited for this last look. So let's get our tapes on first and foremost. This is just eyelash tape that I get from Amazon. All right, tapes are on. Let's do some concealer. This is my Shape Tape Creamy, and this is one of my tan shades. So this is 29N Light Medium. And we're just gonna blend that out. Actually, this is a little dark for the eyelids, but that's okay. I'll just go right over top with my P. Louise. So taking my P. Louise Rumor 2, and I'm gonna go over top just because I don't really like the way that concealer is looking on the lid. So we're gonna brighten it up with this. And this time, since we are doing eyes first and we are going to be able to go back and clean everything up, I'm not worried about being super neat with this. That's why I really prefer to do eyes first, because you just don't have to be worried about making a mess. And I always like to just take my beauty blender and just blend that all out with that as well before we get started. All right, one more time, I'm gonna take the shade Be Kind. We're gonna use this to set down the lid just like we did with the first 2 looks. It's always a plus for me when a palette has a shade like this that I can use to set down the lid without it like having too much color payoff on the lid. So I always love when a palette has a shade like that for me personally, but if not, it's not that big of a deal because I just use a translucent powder. All right, to start off, let's do Unstoppable again. And I am just gonna start working that through the crease and in the outer corner. By this time, if you've made it to this point in the video, you guys know the drill. The only difference is I'm just working along the edge of the tape this time. So the tape is gonna act as a guide, and also it's gonna give us a really nice clean edge. So again, I just don't have to worry about blending too far this way as much because the tape is gonna catch anything that kind of gets placed in that like unwanted area. So now I will say for my personal like makeup style and preference, I feel like to make this a perfect palette, I am missing something in between these two matte browns and this matte brown. I feel like this is a pretty dark kind of chocolatey matte brown, and I feel like I'm wanting something just like a little bit more medium, like mid-tone, but that's okay. Since we don't have that, I'm just gonna go right in with this shade right here. It's called Give Back. Just starting that in the outer corner and just working on blending it up and out. And I'm just gonna pick up that first brush I was using and soften that line. I like this depth in the outer corner, and I honestly am impressed with the color payoff of that. That brown is really nice and pigmented, so definitely happy to see that. But that being said, I don't wanna go crazy with it and bring it like all the way up here. I will say I am definitely impressed overall with the color payoff of this palette. I do feel like Tarte palettes can be hit or miss. I bought their like holiday eyeshadow palette set and did actually film a video with one of the palettes and then just didn't have time to edit it before Christmas. So I feel like now it's kind of pointless to post it, which is why I'm filming this one. But I feel like we all know that like special edition palettes released around the holiday time can really be hit or miss in terms of pigmentation and like just whether or not the overall quality matches the evergreen launches from the brands. I feel like Tarte is one of those brands where you can either get a really good eyeshadow formula or get something that is like leaving something to be desired, if that makes sense. So I feel like this palette is their high quality eyeshadow formula because I really have not had to mess around with any of the shades that I've worked with so far today. I feel like they've been really nice. All right, time for some P. Louise on the lid. Okay, next I'm gonna take this shade in the corner here called Celebrated, and just given the experience that I had with this shade in the last look, I am gonna try to get that on my finger despite the fact that I have nails, and just tap that on kind of like messily to start, and then I'll grab a brush and clean it up. Yeah, these shimmers are definitely like stunning when applied with your finger. Okay, camera died and I had to switch out the battery pack, and I don't know, I feel like that always messes everything up. So sorry if things look different, but I was just saying I'm getting a little bit more of that shade Celebrated and just cleaning that up a little bit on the lid, making sure everything is looking neat and precise across the lid and up towards the crease as well. All right, let's do a little smoky shadow moment, smoky shadow like liner moment. And I am gonna come into this black shade down here. It's called Boss. And I'm just grabbing that on an angled brush. And I'm gonna use that to stamp a little wing right in the outer corner, right along the tape. And then of course we are going to blend this out. And that is a very pigmented matte black. All right, so I'm gonna take a clean brush, no extra product on it to start, and I am just going to start softly smoking that out so it's not so harsh of a line, but we still get some of that nice definition from the black. All right, I'm gonna take a liquid eyeliner. This is the Vivid Matte from NYX. And I'm gonna use that to define the inner corner and connect that with the black shadow in the outer corner. All right, and these tapes are starting to bother me, so I'm just gonna take that off on this eye. All right, and then once the tapes are off, I'm just taking a little bit more of that black shadow and just stamping it along the outer part of my lash line, just to connect everything together and make sure that there's no harsh line where the liquid eyeliner ends and the black shadow begins. So here is how we are looking so far. So I am gonna do my face off of camera and I will come back. Okay, lashes and complexion are on and I am feeling pretty good. So let's just take a second to assess what we've got going on here, and then we will finish up the eyes, and I think I will throw a lip in there as well since this is our final look. So first I want to hit the inner corner with a little highlight. So I am going to come into the shade Empower. Again, we use this in the first look to get that nice frosty effect on the lid, but I want to use it here just to give a nice little pop of glam in the inner corner. Then we're going to take a little bit of Unstoppable on yet another smudging brush, and I'm going to run this along the lower lash line. And then we're gonna add some mascara on the bottom. And I think that that is all I wanna do for the eyes. All right, so for our lip today, I definitely wanna do a nice nude to go with this eye look, but I want it to be a nice glam dimensional nude. So that being said, we're gonna start with a brown lip liner. So this is from NYX and it is just called Brown. All right, so once we are nice and defined around the edges, we're gonna go in with a nice nude lipstick. So this is the shade Flat Iron from Mario. This is from his Super Satin Lipstick collection. I was lucky enough to win a giveaway over the summer where they actually sent me the entire PR box of this entire collection. So that made my entire life this year. But I'm gonna go ahead and just dab that in the center to start and then just kind of spread it out. I just love the way that that combination of the darker brown lip liner with that lighter nude lip, I love the effect that it gives on the lips. It makes the lips look so full, so glam, and that's really how you get that like plumping faux filler effect without having lip filler. I really love that like lip contour technique to really make the lips look full and just pop. So let's finish this off with a nude gloss. This is the Nude 2 lip gloss from Skin by Kim. And I'm just getting that in the center for a little hydration and just a little more dimension and shine to finish off this look. Pretty. I really like the applicator. This is like a nice chunky applicator. I like it. All right, you guys, so here is our third and final look. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. This is it for me. This is my style of makeup. This is the way I like to do my makeup. I feel like I say that so often when I do looks like this on my channel, but this truly is the style I like to do on my brides and bridesmaids. This is how I like to do my own makeup. Like I absolutely would go out and about wearing this makeup and feel so glam and so pretty and still really feel confidently like myself. So I love looks like this, so it's no surprise that I love the way that this third look turned out. But the other ones were fun too, just to do something a little different, but this is the end all be all for me. As far as this palette goes, it's so reflective, so I'm trying really hard not to blind you with it, but I honestly am so impressed. I do think it's worth it. And when I was doing my research, like when I bought this palette to see like how popular this palette was in terms of like search on YouTube, there's not that many videos and there's not that high of a search volume for it. So I'm not sure why there isn't a ton of hype around this palette. Maybe it's because it was just the holidays. There were so many releases, so many holiday collections, and Tarte also launched a lot of makeup during the holidays and a lot of sets and stuff as well. So there was a lot to explore from Tarte in the past like 2 months. So maybe that's it. But I really feel like this is a Tarte palette that is worth it. So I just feel like it's great if you're a neutral lover. You can get a look like, you know, a standard kind of neutral glam look like this. But it's also great if you love those pops of color. I do feel like it's a very versatile palette. If you're somebody that loves both neutrals and color, this is one of those palettes that you can have in your collection that kind of does it all. You can take it with you to travel, you can do things like that, and you have your options. I'll just open it up and show you again here. You have options just inside this one palette. The mattes definitely had a lot of kick up in the pan, but I do feel like they applied really pigmented. The shimmers, every shimmer I used was gorgeous, especially applied with the finger. I loved these two up here in the top row. So I was not disappointed, and you get this huge, gigantic mirror. So it's great to use this palette just if you need like a nice big mirror to do your full face. Here it is, even if you're not doing your eyeshadow. The mirror is great for that too. So I'm really impressed. I'm really excited about this palette. It felt like kind of a slightly frivolous thing to buy a couple weeks before my wedding. But I am definitely happy that I bought it. And I'm definitely happy that I did this 3 looks video today to get to really play around with the different shades and everything like that. That being said, I have been filming for like 4 hours at this point, and I really need a break. So if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. If you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future uploads from me. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. My makeup Instagram is at glambydevyngregorio, and same thing with my TikTok. You'll see a lot of my client work on there as well. That's where I get most of my bridal business, is from Instagram and a little bit from TikTok. So you won't just see my face on there. You'll see all of the lovely faces that I work on as well. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. So leave me a comment with your favorite look from this 3 looks 1 palette video, and I will catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.